When a woman comes into my shop and she asks for a clit piercing, a clit piercing is a real piercing, and I'll cover that on another video, but what she's most likely talking about is a vertical clitoral hood, or a VCH. Of all the piercings I've ever seen that were botched or done really, really poorly, it is the VCH. Not every piercer is able to do a genital piercing because they don't have the proper training or the knowledge to do so. So find a piercer who is qualified and has done several of them, and make sure you have the appropriate anatomy for it. The VCH is a very anatomy-dependent piercing, and there's a simple test you can do at home to see if you are a good candidate for this piercing, and that is the cotton swab test. Now, all you're going to do is, when you look at the video here, is you're going to take the cotton swab, get it wet, and it needs to fit underneath your hood, completely hiding all of the cotton. If that head of the cotton swab goes all the way underneath, you're a good candidate. If it doesn't fit, you're not a good candidate, and the piercing's probably going to reject or grow out. So make sure you have the right anatomy before you even go in. And if you aren't sure, a lot of piercers will actually test this for you too once you're actually in the studio. Now, with jewelry options, you're going to want to use a curved barbell. I would say a minimum of a 14 gauge. Sometimes people even prefer using a 12 gauge. Now be careful, prongs and fancy ends can grab a hold of the underwear, so find something fun, but find something practical. I'm kind of jealous of you women. If I had this anatomy, I would get it pierced because these heal so quick, probably faster than any other piercing that I know of. A lot of women actually say it feels healed within a couple weeks. It's not. It technically does take about a month and a half to 2 months to fully heal, but it's going to seem healed faster than any other piercing you've had. So that's what makes this piercing so rad. Now, as far as the healing goes, you just want to use a wound wash spray, keep those dried lymph fluids off of there, and check your beads to make sure they stay tight. Now, as far as the most common problems, leave it be until it's all the way healed up. Stay away from any sexual activity, and if you are sexually active and it starts hurting, you're doing damage. Like I always say, listen to your body. I have literally pierced thousands of VCHs, so all I have to go by is their reactions. So, let's look at the painometer. It went really high at first and then ended up pretty low. Of all the women I've pierced, their best description is if someone came up behind them and flicked them in the ear real quick. It's a quick, sharp, startling pinch, and the pain goes away almost immediately. I've literally even had women do cartwheels in the room after. It was a big piercing room. But that just goes to show it's not that bad. This is such a rad piercing. Number one, it heals extremely fast, not very problematic. The jewelry options are super, super rad. And most women who come in to get this piercing done are extremely scared, whether they admit it or not. And honestly, the best part of my job as a piercer is helping people overcome their fears and that feeling of accomplishment when they're done. It is awesome. So when was a time you were ever so afraid of something and you were able to overcome that fear? Tell me in the comments. Now, if you enjoyed my video, do me a huge favor, give me a like, subscribe, and of course, keep putting holes in your body. We'll see you all in the next video.